Hey, everybody. Hey. Happy Monday. Marvelous Monday, Miracle Monday, whichever one you want to say it is. Nisha here. I am so happy to be here today. Haven't seen y'all in a number of weeks. But to our Facebook family, our YouTube followers, thank you so much for joining us today. We are back again with some phenomenal people for that almighty book called, hold y'all books up, because I got this filter on. I have this filter on. Reboot Your Marriage. Come on, it's the second edition. It is the anthology. And we have none other than Mr. and Mrs. the ministers extraordinaire, Kerry and Michelle Davis, the ones who know how to sow where they want to grow. Come on, somebody.
Yes.
Every, everywhere you go, they are an amazing couple, and I am excited to have them here to talk about their contribution to the Reboot Your Marriage. They are contributing authors. And so before we get into our much needed, necessary uh, conversation, I'm going to have them to do some, you all introduce yourself to those who may watch for the very first time and may not know your name.
Hello.
Where you
I let
Hi,
my wife go first.
I am Michelle Davis, and this is,
I'm Kerry Davis. That's my beautiful wife, Michelle.
and we are servants of Beautiful Scars Marriage Community.
do y'all have any, where do y'all live? Y'all got any kids, grandbabies? I think y'all have all of the above.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yes.
we are empty nesters, and we have 8 grandchildren, four adult children,
Four adult children.
eight
Awesome, awesome.
grandchildren. Yeah,
And we live in Illinois.
All
South
right.
suburbs.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you all so much for contributing, being contributing authors to this project. Truly, you all are leaders within the community and beyond, and we really appreciate the gift you are. Me and Wes both appreciate you all and what you all contributed to this book. And when I tell you they contributed something very valuable, your contribution was different than everybody's contribution. Okay, but that's let's just tell us a little bit about Beautiful Scars first. I want to know why you named the marriage community, which is really ministry, but
Mm.
why you named it Beautiful Scars.
We go first. You want me to go?
I want you to go first, and I go.
Well, beautiful scars. You probably heard the story of the man who was protecting his wife from a hailstorm, and he covered her and kind of took her to the safety so she wouldn't get hit with the hails. But he was bruised and beat up by those hails. And afterwards, he was disfigured. But every time his wife would see those injuries on him, she would see the beauty and the scars that he had. That's just one version of beautiful scars. That to become something beautiful, sometimes there a lot of times there are scars, and the scars can be a thing of beauty as after you overcame them and you have the testimony of it.
And the second part to that is the beautiful scars that Christ did for us
Mm.
as his bride and his groom. And sometimes marriage can be hard. If you allow yourself to remember all the things that Christ did for us, all the scars he took for us, and at the end of everything, going to hell, getting the keys and rising, those scars were beautiful for his children.
Mm.
And it's a synonym in marriage to me because we go through some hard things and some scars that sometimes we think can't heal,
Yeah.
but we've learned to be just like Christ, to continue to fight, to continue to allow the bruises to grow us, allow the scars to become wisdom, allow the scars to become forgiveness, allow the scars to become healing. And then at the end, that might not look like it when you're in it, but at the end, those scars are really something beautiful because it causes your marriage covenant to have a greater purpose in the earth.
Wow, that is beautiful. Yeah, I never looked at the scars as beautiful, but you know what? It reminds me of people that have birthmarks or different things and blemishes, and they don't allow it to be a stigma, right? And so even
Correct.
within even with our community of marriage, we can't allow the stigma of the scars to remain and just be stuck there. We have to recognize the beauty and that God will turn the beauty his our ashes for beauty, right? And I
Correct.
really appreciate you all saying that. Well, I want to tap into, speaking of beautiful scars, I want to tap into this now. I want to, before we tap into your book, your chapter, The Hard Conversations. That's the title of you all's chapter, Hard Conversations. And I want you all to speak to, people in general, but having recently had a loved one who lost his spouse, who was very dear to my heart. My heart is still broken about it. That sudden loss. Um, just being prepared. I know you guys are going to talk about that, but I would love for you to, just before we dive in, just to encourage someone who's lost their spouse in this time. What would you say to them for them to persevere? I know that's, you all haven't lost each other, so it's
Yeah.
not a thing, but you've had family members and people who have lost their spouses and people that are dear to your heart. So what would you say, girl? Let me tell y'all, both of y'all, I'm getting choked up thinking about it, but what do
Mm.
you say to encourage your loved one who that they got the wind knocked out of them?
I That's a great question, and it's not just a question. It's a actual life for me because I just lost a brother recently, and even that, it was the closest brother I ever had. And even with that, we haven't lost a spouse, but I've felt the impact of losing someone very close. And now, what I've learned, what I'm still learning to do, is always let the grief come when it happens. Don't
Mm,
put a limit on my grieving. Not only that, when I grieve, I always kind of followed up with a beautiful memory of what he did, what he meant to me. So I'll get sad. I'll get, have a moment where something will remind me of him. Actually, my whole house reminds me of my brother because he worked in every room in my house. He worked in it, and there's a piece of him there. I may see something reminded of him, and I will get sad, and I will cry. Then I'll think about that was my guy, and he was a great man. So that's one of the things I would say about grieving, even when you lose a spouse. Don't let your grief, don't put a limit on it.
yeah.
Whew, that's a hard conversation. I will say, which is still difficult, endure the process, but surround yourself with laughter and love.
Mm-hmm.
We had to have that conversation, and just to even think about losing your spouse, all type of questions are gonna come to your mind. Um, and I always say, Lord forbid, and we covered, we're not doing premature death, but sometimes those hard things happen, and I can't say I understand or I know, but I do know holding on, just to prayerfully Christ unchanging hand. When you are sad, cry. When you need to grieve, grieve. If you need to drive, scream. Whatever you need to, whatever your process is, process it.
Yes.
Um, and there's no time on grief at
No,
all.
it's
So
not.
however long it takes for your beautiful scars to take place, just continue to process it, but surround yourself with love. Don't isolate yourself. Surround yourself with family. And when I'm down, I love comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I love to laugh. So if I feel myself going into a state where I'm heavy, I'm either going to dance, pray, shout, or give me a good comedy
Comedy movie.
Netflix special.
Yes, yes. Well, I thank you all so much. If you just joined the conversation, talking to Kerry and Michelle Davis, and they are contributing authors of Reboot Your Marriage, the anthology. And the chapter they wrote was Hard Conversations. And while we're over here exhaling and the little tears are flowing, speaking of grief, I want to just say that I didn't think the Hard Conversations was going to be what you all, I really, it threw me, right? Like before I read the chapter, I'm thinking hard conversations are when you have to talk about wanting a divorce or when you want to talk about how we don't get along. But you all really brought it home when you said for years you put off the conversation about that, about death.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to hear about that D word, right? And I am guilty as charged because I take my relationships seriously. So Wes always says this. He said, "You take death so hard," and I said, I think I take the loss so hard. And not that I understand what it is to lose a spouse, but when I see a couple that actually loves each other, like, and the husband loves the wife like Christ loved the church, I think that's when I get stifled. But having the hard conversation, which after reading your chapter, me and Wes have had some of those hard conversations about death.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're preparing now to have those conversations, because tomorrow's not promised. Life is a vapor. So tell us why it took you all so long to have the conversation about death, and then why you decided to write about it.
It's on me, huh?
I'll
Um,
let you go.
I think the one of the reasons it took so long was procrastination,
Mm,
and another reason was fear.
mm,
Like you just don't want to have that conversation. But in 2023 and 2024, we went to so many homegoing services, celebrations, funerals, whatever we people call them.
Mhm.
And one stuck out to me. Well, all of them stuck out to me, but one stuck out to me particular was a friend of mine, her mother-in-law passed. And when I say she had everything together, this lady had everything together, down from who she wanted to get what, down to who she wanted to sing at her home going, who she wanted to eulogize her, the video that she did. Everything was just, it was in order, which stopped the family for having so much division and confusion. And I'm gonna come to mama house and get this because she always wanted me to have it. After I started digging into it more, I started thinking about my children and my grandchildren. And because our hard conversations did not start off about death, it actually started off about having hard conversations as husband and wife.
Yeah.
mm,
But Holy Spirit just kept pricking my heart about just life in general, but our culture
mhm.
not being prepared for his return. I'm
Yeah,
not, we're not saying we're gonna last till the trumpet sound.
Mhm.
right,
No one know the day or the hour, so it could be tomorrow.
right.
And so when I told my husband that, we had a little pushback at first, because that ain't what we supposed to be talking about, or but I clearly heard it. And then as soon as we started writing it, 4 more deaths came,
Mm, 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 mm.
which was
My brothers.
sadly one of his relatives. And the other homegoing services we went to, it was heavy. People were arguing. Things were said out of order, even over the pulpit.
Mm.
People got up that we didn't know that said stuff, and we was like, and who are they?
Mhm.
And so it was just a time to share and honestly get open, vulnerable, and transparent about what we want to leave. I believe your legacy is what you're doing on earth while you're doing it, but you can also leave a part of that legacy when God called you home. So we started talking about beneficiaries on the account. We started talking about who received what, and we had none of that in order. And the more we talked about it, the more we encountered division in deaths, or individuals that did not have the funds to even lay their families to rest, which is a lot of times we don't know that people let their insurance lapse until they're gone. And
Yeah, yeah,
now the family's trying to come together to
Yeah.
try to, and then you got arguments. Well, I gave this much and I put this much in, and am I gonna get my money? It was just a lot. And we just decided we don't want to go through that. Like,
yeah.
let's get the conversation out in the open. And it took a long time. We started, and then if it got heavy, we were like, okay, let's table it until next Thursday, or just give us a date, because it is a hard conversation to have, but it is definitely necessary.
Yeah. And I don't want you to give the whole chapter away, because I do want you all to purchase from the Davises your book, Reboot Your Marriage, the anthology. They are amazing contributing authors. But I think that I don't want to say in our community, but I'm gonna say in our community, you'll see a lot of people say, put up the GoFundMe or put up the
Mhm.
things. And I'm not saying any of that is wrong, but I do think that there is a blessing in not allowing your loved one to have to walk through that difficult journey. And I'm guilty as charged. Let me just say, we've been having the conversation. We're making steps necessary to get to the spaces of doing the things we've talked about, the what, but we haven't actually put an action plan together. And so I want to say, I know you all wrote an acronym for marriage and
Mhm.
all the things that it involves, and I think it's so profound. And I just wanted to read it. M is for money and mortgage. A is for attorney and accounts. They say M is for movement and marvelousness. They said money and mortgage. They didn't say attorney. A was for affection and well, all the other things. But attorney and accounts. R is for relationships and retirement. The other R is for records and resources. I is for insurance, information, and investments. A is for arrangements and assets. G is for goals, grief, and guardianship. And E is for estate, emergency, elder care. And I think that what a profound acronym to let us know that that's real life.
Yes.
That's just being like the wise, like the ant, being wise, making
Yeah.
sure that you're prepared. So I appreciate that. But with that being said, how are you implementing that with the chapter you wrote, not just with yourselves, but with your children? How have you had that hard conversation with your children also? Now that's the thing that my kids are like, don't talk to me about that.
Oh,
So they don't want to, you know what? I think that sometimes we think, you guys, that if we talk about death or we talk about being prepared, it fast forwards it
yeah.
instead of just really and people have fear.
Yeah.
So what have you all had that kind of hard conversations with your children?
Yeah, we have had Zoom meetings because our children are not all in the state. We would have a Zoom meeting and we would go over things. We would go over our will. We would go over um, where all our paperwork is at. We'll go over how we want things to be done. But do you want the house? Do you guys want to keep it? They had decisions on this also. We included them, and I know there's mixed emotion for each child how they made it through it. But after our recent loss of my brother and their uncle, they couldn't.
They understood it.
They were more so. This is necessary. You know. So
Wow.
that's so yeah. We have had that conversation, and we had it before, but even now it's even more. They're not as pushed back as before.
Okay. So what is the message that you want couples to know? Because we're not gonna give it all away today. We just wanted to give people a brief overview of your chapter, but also what do you want couples to know, about purchasing the book, but not only that, but also, the hard conversations.
Is on me.
Go ahead.
What we want them to know. We want them to know that one of our mentors say it's okay to do hard things because they're worth it. And it's a hard conversation, but it will be worth it. And after you complete it, you will feel you will feel the release. You will feel the reward from it too.
Yeah. And I will also add, it not only did it awaken of us getting our house in order and everything, funds or whatever, but it also made you look at your health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the first thing that I thought about, was like, well, I'm still responsible. That God heals, Jesus heals, but I'm still responsible for making sure I keep my temple in order as well. Because
Yeah.
I don't want you to be pulling out these paperwork or anything like that, because of something that I neglected, So I
Yeah.
started looking at my health. I started looking at the fitness, the food, and even this week, I told him, I say, hold me accountable. I just want to do raw all week. Um, because you could be that individual that make that hard conversation implementation happen that you don't want. So it awakened a lot of things inside, even can I say, even with blended families.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It awakened a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things about having a blended family, and how you
Yeah.
want to be in order for that as well. So It might not awaken the same thing in you that awakened in me, but you're going to have extra conversations that you was not ready to have or prepared to have.
That's so, so good. I want to say thank you all. Listen, hard conversations are real conversations,
Yeah.
and it can stand the test of time with the Lord and with having the tools. Hold y'all up. Having the tools to know. This is coming from a different aspect, and we're excited to hear more from Beautiful Scars, the Marriage Community by Kerry and Michelle. But purchase this book, reach out to them. Email them for information or direct message them on Facebook or Instagram. Follow them because really having these hard conversations, and they do more than talk about death, but this is a real tool that could be applicable to your life. And it's challenged me and Wes to do some things differently and to really start having more conversations. And I didn't think about doing a Zoom, but I think that is something that we're going to think about doing, because maybe they'll be okay, a little better behind the camera than talking about it in person. But anyway, hard conversation, having the conversation about being prepared to transition from this life to the next. Are you prepared? Kerry, Michelle, thank you so much for this contribution. I appreciate you guys. And I know that there's many, many, many more things to come for you guys. But until we see you all again, you all follow Kerry and Michelle, reach out to them, get the book, get the book.
Hey, Nisha, can I add?
Yes, you can.
That with the hard conversation, what the book will help you, it'll give you steps to doing it. It's easy to do a hard thing if you got steps to take. Okay, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do that. So just going into it cold and not knowing what to do. Because a lot of times that's what keeps us from going forward, is that we don't know what to do. What's the next step? So this will help.
And also reach out to them if you want one-on-one, because they do provide marriage counseling. So please reach out to them. They can provide you with tools, not only for this, but for so much more to have a healthy and a restorative marriage. Okay. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you.
We will catch up soon. Hang tight.
Yeah.
Connect and vibe. Connect and vibe. Connect and vibe.